Hello guys, welcome back to the boilerplate and to the part 4 of our Frontend Managerial Round Q&A series. In this video, we will cover the category of quality testing and observability. There will be 6 questions in total, but of course there may be a lot more than this. And this series is basically to help you out how you can frame your answers. We are going to use 3-line rhythm, as I've said in almost all of my videos. And if you have not watched them yet, then I would request you to please go and check this series and make sure to watch the first video. It is very important. The first half of that video covered everything that you need to follow this series, like the 3-line rhythm, the cheat code, your project story, and a lot more than that. So no recaps in this video. There are 6 questions. We will start with first one and we'll follow 3-line rhythm, which is action, which is problem, action, and result. Sometimes this problem can be replaced with the situation, and other times this problem can be given by interviewer him. So we just have to listen and follow the approach, and we'll be sorted. The answers of these questions are going to be very short because I don't want to give you something that you need to memorize and that will confuse you, a lot of jargons and all. I just want to tell you that if any question they ask, any question, then what should run in our mind, what should be the structure of our answer, and how we should frame it. So definitely these answers you can tweak according to you. You can add your project story, your experiences, and your resolutions to these answers. And for anything that you would need, I am still giving you the link of those videos in description box and in I button as well, so you can check, explore, and gather information as much as possible. So I'll go with question number 1, which is what testing pyramid do you follow for front-end code and why? Give concrete examples. They may ask you this question very simply as well, that what is the strategy that you are following for testing your code and your application. So what I used to say is that because I've never done testing, so I don't say that I use this. I always just we can use for testing, we can use Jest, and in as a front end developer we can do unit testing, and then they used to ask me about the integration testing as well. So I can understand if you have not done any kind of unit testing, it is a bit hard to answer these type of questions, and this is why this is my first question. And how can you, like, if you give a tiny story in each of your answer, it immediately validates that you have worked on it. So the problem is given by the interviewer in the question. As you can see, he wants to ask about the testing pyramid that we follow for front-end code and why do we follow it. And he's also asking the concrete example. So what we can say in our action is that I follow a balanced pyramid, more unit test, fewer integration, and minimal end-to-end test. Because as a front-end developer, you really don't need to do the end-to-end test. There is a testing team. There is an independent testing team who works on that. So it is fine for you to say more about unit testing and integration testing. Let's still mention that, okay, this is something that we are aware of. For example, components are tested with Jest, flows with React testing library, and a few Cypress tests for code journeys. I'm sorry for my pronunciation. This keeps tests fast and coverage meaningful without over maintenance. This is the result. So you just have to give the action that you took if the problem is already given by the interviewer, and then you have to and then you have to frame the result that could happen once you follow that approach. So memory queue is just to give you the hint, and this is something that you can add in your cheat code table. Now if you will ask me where is the cheat code table, I would request once again, please go check out this channel and explore in the I button up above and in the description box. So you don't need to memorize the memory queue, it's just to give you a little connection. So is more than integration, and then it's more than E to E, and then it will lead to fast and balanced coverage. So this is the pyramid. Question 2. How have you got production front-end regressions before users did? Tools or process you used? Honestly speaking, I hate this topic of unit testing and Jest enzyme. I don't know, there are a lot of tools. I haven't used even one. So Let's see our answer. We integrated automated visual regression tests with tools like Percy and Storybook snapshots. Any UI drift triggered alerts in CI before development deployment. This helped catch styling issues early, saving debugging time after release. Memory queue is Percy plus CI is used to catch UI drift before release. So what I do, and I'm sure that you're searching these type of questions everywhere, so what you can also do is that okay, we got this question here where they're asking us about the tools and processes that we used for front-end reduction. For front-end, if we come across this question once again, then we can add this question to our to do or task that we need to cover this topic. We have missed this topic, and then we will do. Right now, I don't think this question is that much important. But again, this is included, so I would not comment. So make sure to add this term Percy plus CI into your project, cheat code table, and then we will figure out what to do next. Question 3. Describe an incident where client-side errors spiked. How did you triage and fix them? So this is very similar with something that they asked for production error, and what would you do if you get any production error, an error in deployment, how would you handle that? So for these type of questions, it is very specific that they're asking for any incident where client side errors spiked and how did you manage them. And one more thing, if you have not came across all of these type of questions, then you can simply say for one or two that okay, I've nothing that bad ever happened to me, but if it would, this is how I would be managing it or handling the particular situation. So this is okay to say. And for this question, we saw a sudden spike in console errors via Sentry after a deployment. I used the stack trace and release tags to isolate the buggy commit and rolled back quickly. Postmodern showed an unhandled API edge case, so we added error boundaries and retry logic. In this question, what I feel that is important is first thing is I'm not aware of Sentry, so if you want you can add it and go and search about it, so you'll get to know. And what's important for me is that we can roll back quickly if there is any error in the deployment or production environment, and then we can isolate the buggy commits so that it does not impact other modules, other repositories, and we have to check it, debug it, which showed us that okay, it was related to some API issue. And then we can add error boundaries, which is another important point in React, and we can retry the logic. Memory queue is Sentry spike, then we rolled back and fixed the problem with error boundaries. Question number 4. How do you use feature flags for safe rollouts in front-end releases? Give examples. In this question, we can say we wrap new features with launch darkly flags and enable them for small user groups first. If metrics stay stable, we expand gradually to all users. This allows fast delivery with zero production risk. So memory queue in this answer is feature flag, gradual rollout, and safe delivery. Question 5th. What's your approach to performance budgets and preventing regressions? So answer of this question would be we define budgets for bundle size and load time, say 200. Now this is just for example, 200 KB max for JS and less than 3S for TTI. And it's okay if you don't say this, but what's important is that budget is defined by the bundle size and the load time. Lighthouse CI runs in our pipeline and blocks merges if thresholds are crossed. So merges are blocked if we already exceeded the limit. So the result is this keeps performance consistent across releases. Memory queue is set budget first of all, then Lighthouse CI, and then consistent speed. Question 6 and the last question. How do you measure and act on real user monitoring, which is RUM, and synthetic monitoring data? We use RUM tools like New Relic or Datadog to capture real world metrics like LCP and FID. I would again say that these terms are not that important. These answers are just to help you in framing your answer, and it will also give you some new terms. So even if you don't search about them, at least you've heard about them in some video. So this is just for that. It's okay if you don't know about LCP or FID or New Relic or Datadog, etc. It's completely fine. But the question is that how do you measure and act on real user monitoring and synthetic monitoring data? So what we can use is these tools, New Relic or Datadog, to capture real world metrics. What are real world metrics? Like LCB and FID. Synthetic checks run every few minutes from different regions to detect latency spikes. So if there is any delay, it will be captured and will be logged. When anomalies appear, we compare both datasets to isolate code or network causes. So memory queue is RAM plus synthetic will detect plus fix real issues fast. Okay, so this is it for this video. I hope that you enjoy it, and I hope that you came across a lot of new terms, keywords, jargons that you can add to your project story table, the cheat code table, and then you can figure out and learn more about these things. So if you can add these terms to your vocabulary while answering your questions in the interviews, it will give them the idea that okay, you have a lot of information and you have done a lot of hands-on. So if it helped you and forced you to learn more, please hit a like button, subscribe to the channel, and let me know for any questions, any queries, any suggestions in the comment box. I will definitely respond you, and you can also connect me on Instagram. The channel name is on the screen, and the link is also in the description box. So see you in some other video. Stay tuned, and all the best for your interviews.